In this video, we are going to talk about graphing exponential functions. So first, let's talk about what it means to be an exponential function. So here's our equation for an exponential function. Our a value is our y-intercept, or when our x is equal to 0. When we're talking about word problems, this will also be our starting amount. Our b value is our multiplier. So it's how we're growing or decaying as an exponential function. So if our b is greater than 1, that means this is an exponential growth. If our b is less than 1 but bigger than 0, that means the model is exponential decay. So if we use this idea to identify whether each of these functions are exponential growth or decay, the first thing we're going to do for each of these is look for the b value. So in A, 5 is my a value and 2/3 is my b value. Since my b is equal to 2/3, and that would be less than 1, that means this exponential equation represents decay. Similarly in b, my a is 1/2 and my b is 3/2. Well, this b is greater than 1, so that means this would be a growth model. In C, I have a negative x, which we don't want. So this is neither growth nor decay. And in D, this is a linear model. So that means it can't be exponential growth or decay because it's not exponential, it's linear. So this would also be neither. All right, now let's look at some graphs. So in this first exponential growth graph, the first thing I'm actually going to do is create a table of values. So y equals 3x. So y equals 3x. So in the x column, I'm going to do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then I'm going to plug in each of those numbers into the equation. So I'm going to have 3 to the -2nd power is 1/9. 3 to the -1 power is 1/3. 3 to the 0 power is 1. 3 to the 1st power is 3. 3 to the 2nd power is 9. And then I'm going to plot these points. So I'm going to zoom in. -2, 1/9, 1/3, 1, 3, 9. For those little fractions, we're just going to get it as close as we can. All right, so I'm going to draw my graph. All right, so now let's fill in some information. So first, they're asking about the domain. Remember, our domain is our x values, and we're always going to look left to right. And I'm always going to look left to right. So left, this guy's pointing left, so he's pointing towards -infinity. And then this arrow is going up, but it's also going to the right. So it's going towards positive infinity. So my domain is going to be -infinity to infinity. Now, this is true for all exponential functions. My domain will always be -infinity to infinity. For the range, we are looking at our y values, and so we're always going to look bottom to top. So I'm looking at my range, I'm looking bottom to top. Now, this graph is approaching 0, but it's never going to cross 0. So even if I did like -10, so I did 3 to the -10th power, I would get 0.0001. So no matter what number I put in for x, it's never going to be 0. It's always going to be just above 0. So the smallest number my graph is going to get really close to is 0, but it's never going to touch 0, so that's why I'm not putting a square bracket. I'm only using a round bracket on 0. And then it's going up forever, so it's going towards infinity. So my range is going to be 0 to infinity. And this will be true for every range that has no up or down shift, which we'll do an up or down shift on the back. But if it has an up or down shift, that'll change the range. Now my range is directly linked to my asymptote. Since my range starts at 0, that means my asymptote is y equals 0. And so those things will always be correlated because, again, the asymptote is this line that my graph is approaching but will never cross. My y-intercept is where my graph hits the y-axis, which is right here at 0, 1. All right, let's do the same for this exponential decay graph. So again, I'm going to make my decay graph with 1/2 to the x power. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So again, I'm going to plug each of those into a calculator. When I plug -2 in, I get 4. I plug -1 in, I get 2. Plug 0 in, you always get 1. Plug 1 in, you get 1/2 and 1/4. Now I'm going to plot these points. All right, now that I've plotted the points, I'm going to do my domain and range. So again, my domain is my x value, so it's going to be left to right. Well, the left side, although it's pointing up, it's also pointing left, so it's going -infinity to infinity. And like we said for the last one, the domain for every single exponential is going to be -infinity to infinity. My range is my y value, so we're going to think bottom to top. Again, the bottom here is approaching 0. My top here is going towards infinity. So my range is going to be 0 to infinity. Our range is always linked to our asymptote. Since my range starts at 0, my asymptote is y equals 0. And my y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis, which is right there. So it's going to be 0, 1. All right, now we're going to look at some exponential equations that have transformations, meaning shifts. So let's look at our exponential function again. So it's y equals a times b to the x. But we could have also x plus or minus some number h, and we could have plus or minus some big value k. And so what does this all mean? Well, if it's plus or minus h, plus h means my graph is going left, and minus h means my graph is going right. My k value, plus k, means my graph is going up, minus k means my graph is going down. And then my a value in front is my stretch or my shrink. So if my a is bigger than 1, that means my graph is going to stretch or get bigger, because my a value is multiplying by a number bigger than 1. If my a is less than 1, that means it's going to be a shrink. All right, so let's look at this first graph. So now we have a graph with some transformations. So I see a +3 and a +1. So that +3 tells me that I'm going left 3, and that +1 tells me that I'm going up 1. Now my parent function is the 2 to the x power. So that's what I'm going to make my table for, and then I'm going to shift them that left 3 up 1. So I'm going to make my table -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And so I'm going to get 1/4, 1/2, 1, 2, 4. And so I'm going to plot those points really lightly though, and I'm not going to connect them because I'm going to end up shifting them. All right, so now each of those points I'm going to shift left 3 up 1. So I'm going to start with this first point to the left. I'm going to go left 3 up 1, so it's going to shift to there. Then this next point, -1/2, left 3 up 1, left 3 up 1, left 3 up 1, left 3 up 1. So again, I shifted all those points in purple, left 3 up 1, and that made my graph in green. And so my graph in green is going to look like this. Now, as you can see, now my graph is not approaching 0. Now my graph is approaching 1. And that's because of this up 1 shift. So I can see since it's approaching 1, I know my asymptote is going to be at 1. And again, that's because of that up 1 shift. That also relates to my range. If my asymptote's at 1, that means my range starts at 1. In this case, we didn't see the y-intercept, so actually, let's see. If I add one more table number to this table, 3, 8, and then I shift that left 3 up 1, I'll see that my y-intercept is actually at 0, 9. And then my domain, we said for every single exponential, is always -infinity to infinity. And so that is what this first graph would look like. So we're always going to graph that parent function and then shift it based on that transformation. All right, let's give it a try with this different graph. That's 1/2. So again, let's look at our transformations. -5, -4. So -5 and with the x means I'm going right 5. -4 means I'm going down 4. Let's make a table for our parent function. And then again, we are just going to shift these points. So let's graph these points first. I don't need to graph them too dark though, because these are not the ones I'm going to connect. I'm going to end up shifting them. All right, so now all those points are going to be shifted right 5, down 4. So I'll start with this one most to the left. So right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I say? Right 5, down 4, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my graph is going to approach. It's going to approach -4 on the y. All right, so it's approaching -4 on the y, because again, this down 4 shift tells me my asymptote's at -4. It also tells me my range is -4 to infinity. We know my domain is always -infinity to infinity. All right, so what's the y-intercept? So remember, the y-intercept, your x is always 0. So if my x is equal to 0, that means if I plug in 0 for x, I should get what my y-intercept is. And so if I plug that in my calculator, I would get 28. And so my y-intercept would be at 0, 28. All right, let's graph this function. So now we get a little bit tougher. We got this number in front. So remember, this a value means I have a shrink of 1/2. My parent function is 4 to the x, and this +1 means I'm going left 1. So a shrink by 1/2 means I'm going to do 1/2 times all my y values. So let's make our table. So we get 1/16, 1/4, 1, 4, 16. So we're really going to only be able to plot a couple of these points, but that's okay. So -2, 1/16, -1, 1/4, 0, 1, 1/4. Unfortunately, 2/16 is just not going to fit. That's okay. So now I'm going to shift all these points. So first I'm going to shrink it all by 1/2. So multiply it all by 1/2, and then I'm going to go left 1. Well, 1/2 of 1/16 is 1/32, so it's already going to be really small. So I'm really just going to shift this point just left 1, because it's just going to be a little bit less smaller. All right, 1/2 of 1/4 would be 1/8, so again, just a little bit smaller, shifted left 1. 1/2 of 1 is 1/2, and then shift it left 1. 1/2 of 4 is 2, and then shift it left 1. Oops. So now my graph would look like this. So I can see that I know that my domain will always be the same. I didn't have any up or down shift, so I know that my asymptote is at 0, meaning my range is 0 to infinity. And I can see that my y-intercept is at 0, 2.